I came to accept that Japan is not a solution to my problems. It doesn't owe you anything. Good things don't come to you just because you're foreign in Japan. So you guys, here's my story. Hi everybody! This is Allison from Ariame Talk. This is my channel where I talk about stuff in Japanese, talk about Japanese culture, how to get into the country, all that stuff. So I hope you will like and subscribe and enjoy my video. Dogen, my friend, you are absolutely right. Okay, he's not really my friend, and he doesn't know I exist, but like most former weebs, can I say that? At what point do you graduate from weebhood? Anyway, like most Japanophiles who have made a living out of their passions, I could not agree with this video more. So you guys, here's my story. I started falling away from the girls around my age when I was 10 years old. At the time, I was attending an all-girls private school, and I printed out the pictures of Sailor Moon and characters and stuck them to my binder. The other girls thought I was gay. So in 8th grade, I switched to a public school where I met other nerds like me, and this reinforced the idea that there wasn't something wrong with me, I was in the wrong environment. All through high school, I constantly drew anime in the margins of every notebook, every piece of paper I had, and I got pretty good. I started writing my own manga, but my passion was truly in animation. And so towards the end of 10th grade, I told my mom that I wanted to be an animator in Japan and I needed to be homeschooled so I could focus on art and Japanese. God bless my mother. She agreed. I started taking Japanese classes at a nearby university and BS'd my way through the rest of the high school curriculum as a homeschooler. Then in 2002, my loving parents put their 17-year-old daughter on a plane by herself to do a homestay in Okinawa. This was less than a year after 9/11. As a parent now, I cannot fathom this. But I digress. So this was my first time in Japan, and I lost my ever-loving mind. Just like Dogen said in his video, I did everything I could possibly do. I went to a matsuri in a yukata. I wore my host sister's backup high school uniform, which had a sailor collar. Do you know how much cred that gives you as a high schooler? But my favorite part was book off. I could not handle the multitude of manga at a low price, and I stuffed my suitcase with everything I could, thinking one day I'll be able to read all these kanji. So aside from the giant jungle spiders in Okinawa, I never wanted to leave. It became a kind of obsession for me. I had bags and clothes and stationery from Japan, and I wanted people to compliment me so badly so I could say, oh, this? Oh, I got it in Japan. It was an obsession that only got worse when I did my second study abroad in college. I had scholarships supporting me every time I went to Japan, and I was constantly out of money. I was buying all the cute things so that I could wave them in people's faces back home. But something started to nag at me. I had always made it my goal to have my Japanese be better than my Japanese friends' English. And I finally crossed that line around my second year of university, but I still wasn't being included. Despite my language ability, despite how I dressed and behaved, Japanese, I wasn't. And I wanted so desperately to be. I was straightening my hair and wearing cute shoes that hurt my feet, and I learned all my makeup techniques from Japanese magazines. I know this is going to sound really superficial, but understand this is how I was. But when someone came up behind me and asked me a question about the train, and I turned to face them, they still had that horrified look of, oh no, gaijin! I didn't belong here. In the last Japanese class that my university offered, I had to write a paper. And I wrote something really similar to what Dogen said in his video. When I was a young outcast, I made friends who like anime. And I thought, this must be the place for me. When I finally came to Japan, all the kids my age were interested in me. I was special, and I thought, this must be the place for me. Then when I tried to make it my place, I couldn't. I had to accept that this is not my place, but I could be myself here. I could be myself in Japan. I just had to stop trying to be Japanese. And that was a turning point for me in university. I came to accept that Japan is not a solution to my problems. Most importantly, it didn't owe me anything. I needed to make myself into something marketable in Japan. Now, when you come to this realization, I think many foreigners become disenchanted with Japan. But as Dogen pointed out, you have the responsibility. Offer something. It doesn't owe you anything. Good things don't come to you just because you're foreign in Japan. This is the advice I give my students as well. I teach interpreting and give occasional talks for high schoolers who are learning Japanese. And I always say something like, go into something that will make you marketable in Japan. Don't simply study the language. So in my case, I went on from university to grad school where I studied TESOL. I was thinking that I could go over to Japan and be an English professor in a university rather than just an eikaiwa teacher. I mean, look at me, I can even teach in Japanese. That was supposed to be the ticket to living in Japan for me. Then, while I was in grad school, I went on my final study abroad trip. This time, instead of studying Japanese, I was studying the education system, teaching methodology, linguistics, all in Japanese. What's more, I was in classes with everyday normal Japanese people who didn't necessarily want to hang out with me just because I was foreign. I started to make friends beyond the usual conversation partner that you get hooked up with in an exchange program. The reason why I didn't end up following this into a career teaching in Japan is rather simple. I met a boy. It's always a boy, isn't it? Funny thing is, this boy was American, another study abroad student. And because he was trying to graduate and establish a career in something after graduation, he didn't want to move to Japan right away. So we stayed in America. Thanks to his wise decision, he's now my husband, by the way. He became a network engineer. I became a conference interpreter. And when the offer came for him to move to Japan for his company, which Dogen talks about, we made bank, lived the cushy expat life in a high-rise apartment in Tokyo. This time, I went to Japan as myself. I'm a devout Christian, a working mother, a business owner, someone who's always kind of lived on the fringe of society and now is okay with that. And while I still struggle to find my place in Japan, I have good friends now who love me for who I am. And I don't need the entire country to love me. So if you're watching this and thinking that moving to Japan will solve all your problems, I hope that that's what you find, is just a small community of people who like you for you. If you have questions, get in the comments, and I'll see you next time.